What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Atlantic Files, the number one podcast in the number one division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network. As always, joined by your host, myself, Alex Fishbein. We got Dennis Big Sexy Clausen with, again, Mike on the way.
He'll be here eventually. Not that he adds much, but, you know.
I mean, true. The real stars of the show are right here. So
correct.
That's just how the cookie crumbles.
He hadn't been around for so long. When he was on last week, I had people come up to me and say, Dennis, and that was so nice of you and Alex to do that. And I said, what do you mean do that? They're like, you let the special kid in. And I said, no, that's our buddy. So several of those comments.
The comments I heard were, wait, he's still part of the podcast?
Wait, who is that?
But we love him. Of course we love him. I guess.
We do?
I mean, to keep it nice and G-rated, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
How's life been, though?
Taking forever. How about you?
Taking forever.
Fat it.
Life's been
we should make
good.
Mike wear a helmet from now on.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
And I'm not talking like a football helmet. Oh, never mind. My wife is going to yell at me now.
I knew what you meant.
And I don't mean anything by it before everybody starts jumping all over me it's a joke.
Yeah. Just messing around with just Mike, really.
Correct. It's more of a shot at Mike than anything else.
Exactly. But anyway.
But you know how it is. You got to watch what you say because then somebody's going to yell at you.
That's true. You'll get yelled at for anything. I mean, I have to say the Facebook group that our neighborhood created is the dumbest thing that I see every day because it's literally just complaint after complaint. And I'm just like, don't you guys have a hobby? Don't you guys have anything to do with your life other than just complain and bitch to the other people in the neighborhood on Facebook?
Obviously not.
No.
Look at you, big shot. You know you're a big shot when you're in a fucking neighborhood group on Facebook.
Trust me, if we didn't have to have an HOA and a Facebook group and everything, I'd be perfectly fine not to.
See, that's the problem with Facebook, though, is that everybody just thinks it's... There's a lot of people who probably would benefit from seeing a therapist pretty routinely.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't have to because they go on Facebook.
Right.
And I cannot stand. Like, I'm pretty put together, but, I hate people when they just come up and just start complaining. It's like, I didn't ask you didn't ask me to start bitching about stuff.
Exactly.
I absolutely despise that. And it's about the stupidest shit, too.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the complaints we get on the Facebook group are like, oh, this dog peed in this yard. Or this
Who cares?
Dog...
It's a dog.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't understand why this is impacting your life so much.
That's how you know you have, like, that you've made it when you can go on a Facebook group and complain about somebody's dog peeing on your lawn.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because you have nothing else to worry about.
Do you think the people in like Somalia are warning? They're like, I just want some clean water to drink.
Exactly.
But we got fucking hoity-toities, bitching about dogs pissing on a lawn.
Exactly.
It's piss.
And not just that,
and then who knows what's going on in those homes, in those bedrooms? You think pee's the only thing that's been flying around in some of those places? You know what I mean?
If we've learned anything from Zion, probably not.
Trust me, I'm sure there's way worse shit being somewhere in that property that's much. The urine's the least of their problem.
Exactly. And the other thing that just...
But obviously, I'm sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
I say, obviously, if there were more fluids floating around other than urine, you wouldn't need to go on a Facebook group and bitch about a dog peeing on your front lawn because you'd be too busy doing something constructive with your time.
Exactly. That's what I'm... And that's the thing is, my other two, I guess, my complaints are the people who sign up for an HOA need to find a hobby. Because the fact you have all this time after your full-time job, and if you have kids, after your kids, to go and do all that HOA stuff and be that anal about looking around at people's lawns and bullshit like that, you need a hobby in life. You need to do something.
Do you know who the lead, like the head vampire of the HOA is?
Oh, yes, I do.
He's like the head vampire. He's strong. Next time you go to the meeting,
he's a history teacher.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, so in the
summers... So no wonder why he's got all this time on his hands. He teaches history. They don't do anything.
Exactly. And, of course, he's an asshole because he's a teacher. Not a diss on all the teachers.
I'm married to one. I know.
Definitely not a diss to all the teachers. There's some cool teachers out there, but most history teachers, I feel like, are kind of assholes.
Like, most history teachers, though, I think they think that they're smarter than they are. They're like...
Yes.
Like, I'm a history teacher, so they think they know all the answers. It's like, dude, you don't know shit. You're a moron.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've always had this gift, though. Like, I've said some pretty, like, I don't have a filter with a lot of stuff, and... But I've always had this gift, though, where I come across as harmless, and I can get away with saying a lot of stupid shit that would be generally, like, misconstrued as offensive, but people still laugh at it. You know what I mean?
If people know you're not an actual dick, and they know that it doesn't come from a place of malice, they can laugh at it.
Correct. They know I'm a nice guy.
Exactly. Like, if Mike says it's like, well, fuck him.
He's an asshole.
Exactly. But if you or I say it's like, oh, they're just messing around.
Those guys are good. They're cool.
We love those guys.
Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but fuck history teachers.
Agreed. But my last thing is...
Fucking HOA president. You got to bring a wooden stake to the...
and some garlic.
And some garlic and holy water.
My last thing is there was a woman that posted on there and said, like, somebody has been saying stuff to my kids, and I would rather you come say it to me if you have an issue. Don't say it to my kids. And I was like...
Your kids suck. Bring them on the podcast. I'm going to tell them our kids suck.
At the same time, though, I also would be like, yo, just, like, say something to me if you have a problem. Because I'll tell my kids to either stop doing whatever the fuck they're doing, or if you're just being an asshole, I'll tell you you're being an asshole. And what happened was somebody ended up commenting and being like, oh, well, your kid grabbed their dog, was like chasing your puppy on my yard at 11 p.m. and I told them not to be out that late at night. And she was like, our dog escaped his leash and escaped the house. They were trying to get the dog back. They weren't playing in your yard.
Well, I mean, you got to be more mindful about your animals, though.
True. But then the other guy complained that they were throwing the football around in the street. I'm like, can kids not be kids anymore?
I know. Who fucking cares?
Like,
God.
I would rather have kids out there playing rather than, like, kids being like me and being in the house all day on the computer because you have to work or play video games all the time. Right.
He's probably just mad because they're not down in his fucking basement with the rest of the other kids he's probably got down there.
Probably.
Weirdo. If you're that mad about kids throwing a football around, you're a douchebag.
Agreed. And that's the kind of shit that's on this Facebook group, and that's why I'm like, I can't wait to have just a single house that's not in an HOA so that I can just do whatever the fuck I want, not have to worry about hearing shit.
Well, are you required to join the HOA?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a bunch of it's like a townhome community, so you have to be in the HOA.
It's like the union, like you have to join it.
I know.
What benefit do they give? I don't know, nothing. But
we get the nice things are like you get your snow removal, the trash, and the landscaping. Even though the landscapers are garbage too, but
well, they're all ex-criminals.
they might be. I have no idea.
Yeah, pretty much a good chunk of. See, you have the head guy in the landscaping business who's not a criminal, but then he has criminals working for him because he can't find a job. You think anybody in their right mind wants to be a fucking landscaper?
True.
I have never seen one kid ever write in his journal and go, "Oh, what do you want to be, Joe? I want to be a doctor." And the other, okay, Mike, what do you want? And actually, nobody's named that anymore. Caleb, what do you want to be? I want to be a fire person. They'll probably call it because we got to be all fucking. And then, okay, Connor, what do you? Connor, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a chef. And then they go up to like the one kid though, whose name is Mike because his parents are still not evolved yet until like 2023. They're still in like trailer park names. Mm-hmm. Not that Mike, but I'm just, that was just Joe. We'll say Joe hypothetically. They're still in trailer park name. What do you want to be? Fuck it. I want to go to jail for a while on a couple of DWIs, and then I want to be a landscaper because I won't be able to find a fucking job.
Sounds about right.
Yeah,
I agree. Mike is finally here, fresh off of a nice little dinner.
Yeah, little hamburger helper.
Nice. Can you guys hear that in the background, by the way? No?
Who is it? The HOA president knocking on doors?
No. I think Deanna's watching TV on her phone while she's putting together that dresser.
Oh, what's she watching? Grey's Anatomy? A
Vanderpump
little dreamy
Rules.
and McSteamy?
Some reality TV. But let me know if you can hear it if it is loud.
I can't hear anything. No, I'm just...
I can't either, but I kind of want to hear it.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she's watching like one of those, like a smut show.
It's just reality TV.
Like I said, smut.
Exactly.
I tell you though, my wife has been reading these. My wife has been reading these books lately.
Oh God!
And the amount of shit that goes on in these books, I had no idea.
I had one of my friend's coworkers wrote a sex book with him and his wife, and like he said that like some of him and his coworkers read it, and there's like scenes that apparently they had sex in one of the offices.
It's like based on a real story.
Yeah, like he just documented all the places they had sex, but then like wrote the details of it and made it like a romantic, like gray, 50 Shades of Grey kind of book.
See, but I'm not going to get into it until it's like the sexy cowboy, but then who's also an astronaut and has to fight dinosaurs.
I see.
Then I'll get into it. But speaking of sex tapes, you know what I mean?
She just got suspended from Twitter by Elon Musk.
She joins Donald Trump in the land of the suspended. Dennis's favorite person, we should say. I think Dennis's two favorite people in the world are now suspended on Twitter.
His two favorite people?
Who's that?
Donald Trump and Mariah Mills.
You're more of a you're definitely a Trump guy because we know you're racist.
That's messed up.
God.
But if she does release the Zion tape, which she says she's going to, that'd be pretty fun. I want to, like, I hope it's like fat Zion. Not
Is
like,
there a skinny Zion?
Well, I hope it's the fatter version of him, not like the skinnier fat version. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it's like August Zion, where he's sitting on a couch and go, "Fuck, tomorrow I know I'm starting my diet." But today it's gonna be, Papa John's, and we're gonna get some ice cream up in here, some, strawberry shortcake rolls, and Mariah then rolls by the crib, Next thing you know, she's got her phone that he probably bought her, the Google Pixel 12, whatever the hell they're up to, which has a great camera. Next thing you know, she gets this idea. Hey, baby, let's take a video of this. And guys are like, I don't care what it takes. I'll do anything at this point. I just want to.
Sure.
So he's like, yeah, I'll let you film me. Just don't show it to anybody.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know what happens, but I want to see just rolls and just sweat and fucking heavy breathing and it's like Mike when he eats.
Dennis just wants to see the dark version of him.
It's gonna be on a bed of Twinkies.
That would be great. That would be great.
Anyway, let's actually get into some basketball now. We'll start off with obviously the biggest news that has happened recently, other than Mariah Mills threatening to release sex tapes.
Rita's came out with a new flavor.
They probably might have.
They do all the time. I see it on Instagram. They always, yeah.
I still can't believe they haven't sponsored us. But
dickheads.
I know.
Didn't I reach out and they responded to us saying we don't do sponsors or something like that?
Well, they said anybody but you.
Yeah, they responded to a tweet or something.
They probably
anyway.
respond to the HOA president.
Probably. Bradley Beal shipped off to Phoenix for Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, some second-round picks, and second-round pick swaps.
Your man's.
Good old Landry Shamet. He's been passed around a bit.
Fucking guy. He's like Zion's girls. He can't stay put. He's passing them all over the place.
Exactly. So, obviously, everyone's talking about how good the offense should be from Phoenix, especially if you keep... I mean, if DeAndre Ayton stays, you have a solid starting four of Durant, Booker, Ayton, and Beal.
Ayton ain't staying.
Well, that's the thing. If you trade Ayton, they're going to have to get a lot of supporting cast members out of that because they ain't got shit right now other than Campaign, Josh Okogie, and really that's it.
Okogie's projected to be in their starting lineup.
Yeah, he's supposed to be starting small forward, which then to me, I was like, you're telling me Booker and Beal are going to share point guard duties?
Well, Booker has played point guard before when, one of the 8 times that Chris Paul's been hurt over the past couple seasons. Chris Paul's actually better when he plays, Booker's actually kind of good when he plays. He's like Donovan Mitchell when he plays point. His usage rating's up to about 862. So he's actually not too bad. Just my whole issue, though, is that, you have no depth, and then you have, your big three, quote unquote, are guys who have historically been hurt a ton.
You got no big, you have no point guard, you have no depth, aka no bench, and you have no fifth starter that's actually quality. Oh, I'm sorry, and you have no defense. This team is not going to win more than 50 games. This team's not going to win to the finals. The Nets trade for Miles Bridges looks better and better by the day because this will improve the 2029 draft pick that we got. We're loading up for the class of 2029.
Well, here's the thing, though. The point guard situation will be solved here in a little bit once. What are we? June 20th right now. So we got 10 days until things have been quiet.
They have no money.
Very quiet.
Well, they have a big contract that they can, a guy they want to get rid of in the middle.
Yeah, but the only reason they can pay him is because they have the bird rights. There's no way that even if they move Ayton, they free up $50 million to spend on free agents.
Well,
I mean, they can still spend on minimums and stuff. So
yeah, what are we talking about?
They could still swap contracts.
Phoenix, who's coming to Phoenix?
Kyrie Irving.
On a minimum?
No, I mean they can do a sign and trade.
What do you think? James Harden's coming on a minimum, and then they'll just give him free admission to all the strip clubs in the greater Phoenix area?
I mean, that'll probably do it.
if they do trade Ayton, it'll free up $32.5 million next year.
Yeah, but how much cap space does that actually free up?
If they do a trade for trade, it'll work.
Are they going to trade for Trey? They really want no defense then.
Well, I'm telling you, Kyrie Irving's going to Phoenix.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean,
It's
I also
happen.
wouldn't doubt if Chris Paul so Chris Paul got his $30 million. If he gets waived, he got his money. I wouldn't rule out Chris Paul going back to Phoenix on a minimum after that.
Well, I don't think he's eligible to go back.
Even after he clears waivers?
No.
Oh, okay.
And the PA won't allow that, even though I think Chris Paul's like the guy in charge of the PA. They're not going to let Chris Paul sign for the minimum. Are you kidding me?
He's probably going to sign for the minimum wherever he goes.
I mean, this poor Chris Paul can't go anywhere without somebody getting involved and shutting that down.
True.
But he's going to end up in L.A. It's one of those bum teams he's going to go. And
I mean, the Clippers do seem to be going for him pretty hard.
Well, they want more injured guys. They want more guys who are going to get hurt.
They want a whole starting five that'll get hurt at the same time. That's what they're really aiming for.
I saw this thing on, people make these pictures and stuff, and I saw like a picture of Chris Paul, Kawhi, and Paul George, and they go, they were like championship, and I'm like, are you on drugs?
I mean, my bet for this Suns team is that Durant, Beal, and Booker will only play between 20 to 30 games together, total.
I mean, considering Durant was out for, 4 weeks after just taking a slip on the court during doing a layup.
Right. And Beal misses 3 months with somebody flicking him in the arm.
Well, since 2019, I'm going to tell you, Beal played 57 games, 60 games, 40 games, 50 games. The guy's a bum. But he's street clothes. He's the epitome of street clothes. And he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew there were probably a couple other teams that were interested in getting him, but he knew, I'm going to stay in Washington. I'm going to get my bread. And because they had his bird right, so he's going to get paid more. And this is exactly the plan. He knew what was going to happen. He has that no trade clause. So he had all the rights in the world. Now Washington, they got Chris Paul, but they didn't really get anything for that. Barely anything.
All second-round picks and second... That's the first time I've heard of second-round pick swaps. Not even first-round pick swaps. Second-round pick swaps.
But that just goes to show you, though, with the new CBA about how, teams aren't as willing to spend money. The Suns are already like, fuck it, we already spent a shit ton of money. We might as well just go all in right now.
Right.
But that just goes to show you that a guy like Beal he's not high on the radar for a lot of teams anymore.
No. Well, especially because by the time he's 32, he's set to make $60 million. Who the fuck wants to pay him 60-some million when he's going to be even more susceptible to injury? And I will say on top of that, you brought up Beal since 2019. Kevin Durant since 2019. So 2019 is when he, the year he missed because of his Achilles. So
that the Nets still paid him for anyways.
Yep. Then he played 35.
Nets, those big bad Nets.
He played 35 games, 55 games, 47 games.
Yeah, he's a pile of crap.
So the only one that's going to stay remotely healthy is Devin Booker.
He don't stay healthy either.
I know, and that's the thing. I think the healthiest person on the team would be DeAndre Ayton if they kept him.
They ain't keeping him.
So Booker since 2019 is 70 games, 67, 68, 53.
That's Booker, you said?
Yeah. So healthier, but not fully healthy a lot. And then even though they probably won't be keeping him, I'll just look. DeAndre Ayton actually isn't much better. Since 2019, he's 38, 69, 58, 67. So the whole team's just going to fall apart.
But you know something? I'd rather have him any day of the week than if I were the Mavericks. I'd rather have him any day of the week than what they were not really forced to inherit. But I mean, they're not going to win with Spencer Dinwiddie. They know that, but it didn't work with Kyrie. And so yeah. But the Suns are quickly becoming. Actually, I don't even know if they're quickly becoming. I think they are already the most hated team in the league, especially when you hear all the Monty Williams stuff. His wife has breast cancer, and they still got rid of him anyways. So shout out to the Pistons, though, the Pistons organization, for doing the right thing. They put his wife on the she can get benefits and stuff. So, good for the Pistons. Suns, I used to like the Suns, a small market team, and now the ownership is garbage. And yeah.
I agree. I mean, honestly, what have the Suns done since the 7 seconds or less team?
Nothing.
Exactly. So, I mean, it's cool and all that. I will say, at least if you're getting Bradley Beal, at least you didn't trade much. However...
But how stupid are the Wizards, though? And I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but how stupid are the Wizards, right? The Suns came out and said, we're gonna. I mean, you're that desperate to get rid of Bradley Beal that you acquire a guy who they publicly came out and said we're waiving him if we don't trade him.
Right.
What, Chris Paul?
Yeah.
Well, that was just to make the salaries match.
Yeah, but so then you're saying you
Were you
couldn't
listening to
find a
anything I just
better
said?
deal than Shamet and a bunch of second-round picks?
No, I agree with you. I'm just saying they had no leverage because Bradley Beal, A, wanted to trade, and B, had a no trade clause.
He did, but he also gave them a list of teams he would go to, and apparently the Miami Heat were prepared to trade a better package.
They could at least got. I would, even though they said the Heat would have loved to just get rid of like Duncan Robinson and stuff like that, but they could have worked their way in to get Tyler Hero, I'm sure. And now you're hearing all this.
Was a rumor to be part of the deal.
I mean, Tyler Hero's that poor guy's been on the trade block since last year.
True.
Not that he's a poor guy. I mean, because I kind of my feelings have shifted after seeing his choice of attire throughout the postseason, which I still would have interjected. I would have said, "You got to put a suit on, man. You look like an idiot." A warm up, something.
Oh God, most of the players' fashion these days is questionable.
I mean, that's really questionable. But now we're hearing, though, about Bam Adebayo's name is being floated around, especially when it comes to Portland. So it's like, what the hell's going on? What's going to happen? We're going to see what's going to happen. But still, at the end of the day, these teams have to realize these super teams don't work.
Especially when you're trading for people who can't stay healthy and or are aging. Kevin Durant's going to be 35 next year. Not saying that he's showing a ton of signs of slowing down, but he is showing signs of breaking down.
I think he's definitely showing signs of slowing down, and people might break my balls. Well, Dennis, just because you like the Nets, but that's 100% not true. If you looked at Durant in Phoenix, he looked awkward, not balanced. He didn't look good.
Yeah, I mean,
he's still good. I just I didn't get a comfortable feeling that he's a guy who he looked to me like he's one fall away from missing 4 months or something.
In the playoffs, they were struggling to beat a Clippers team that didn't have Kawhi or Paul George.
Well, to be fair, in the 8 games he played for the 8 games he played for Phoenix in the regular season, he had a higher offensive rating than he ever had with the Nets. And then in the 2 series he played with Phoenix in the playoffs, he had 28, 7, and 6, 29, 10, and 5. So I don't think he's slowing down, Dennis.
What I said was not that he played bad. I'm saying he looked like he was kind of awkward. He didn't look smooth like he normally looks. To me, he looked like he was. If you slip on the court and you're out for 4 weeks, that's a problem.
That is a problem.
I mean, there's old people who fall and then get up. Like they slip on ice and they break a hip and it takes them 4 days to go to the hospital.
I will say, though, 2 seasons ago in the postseason for the Nets, he averaged 34, 9, 4, 1, and 1. So
Don't mean nothing if you're not on the floor.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it didn't look like he was at that type of level so far with Phoenix.
I don't think no, but I also think that he's starting to me, I think he's starting to slow down a little bit. Statistically, he's still performing, but the way he looked, to me, it looked like something's up. I don't know if he was in not shape or whatever was going on, but
I agree. So, with that being said, Chris Paul going to Washington talks about him either being waived or signing trade or traded or whatever it may be.
God, I hate this conversation.
Where
We've been talking about this.
You already said you thought he would go to LA, but
I
where
ain't
do you
saying shit.
where do you think he would be best fit in?
The assisted living facility.
I mean,
these teams think they're going to solve all their problems by bringing in all these guys who are way past their prime.
That's the issue. I don't get bringing in somebody that's breaking down all the time and being like, this is what'll take us to a championship.
This guy right here.
Exactly. I don't understand it.
I don't get it. But I get it if he's available. Sure, he's better than 95% of the players in the league when he's healthy to some level. But I don't get where, people would say Chris Paul's coming. There's a championship. Like, shut up. Not happening.
I really don't get it at all. Mike, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul, he's linked to. I've seen him linked, like you said, to the Clippers. I've seen him linked to the Nets. Like some teams, people are saying he should come to the Nets.
The Warriors were a report as well.
The who? That was the one I didn't understand. Like, what is he going to do for the Warriors? I don't know why. I just realized how I was sitting there. It would look ridiculous.
It didn't matter how you say it. You still look ridiculous.
Like, Miami would be a good spot for him instead of Kyle Lowry, but I don't know. Like, I've seen, does he go back to New Orleans? Does New Orleans really shake it up, get rid of Zion, bring in Chris Paul for like a retirement tour and the number 2 pick or number 3 pick, whatever they trade Zion for, and kind of like try to revamp the roster that way? That'd be interesting. But there's not really like that many options. Like, not a lot of teams really, like, not a lot of good teams really need a point guard. Memphis would be an interesting option because of Ja Morant being suspended and not knowing what the hell he could do tomorrow.
They're also apparently looking for a trade for Tyus Jones.
Didn't they move Russell or trading Russell or something?
Minnesota doesn't have Russell. He's on the Lakers.
You're right. He got traded already.
Mike Conley's contract, I think, is expiring.
Okay, so Minnesota would be an interesting option, but like that's really it.
Stop. He's not going to any of these teams. He's going to the Lakers.
Yeah, I could see him going to the Lakers. No,
that's not. I could see he's going to the Lakers. He's going to the Lakers.
Do you think Adam Silver vetoes the move?
I mean, he doesn't care about Taiwan. Why do you think he's going to care about Chris Paul going
He's either going to the Lakers or the Clippers. That's for
it.
Sure.
Case closed. But his buddy LeBron's going to be like, yo, what up? You want to play for a shitty team? Come on over. Remember the banana boat?
Oh, yeah. They got to bring Melo out of retirement.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, Chris Paul's leadership and everything is one thing that I'll never knock. Like, his leadership is something that is valuable to any team. However, if he really wants, like, part of the report of him being traded was because he wanted that $30 million. If he really wants to get paid all this money, then he's just going to have to deal with the fact he's never going to come close to a championship. If he'll sign a minimum with a good team, then he can finally get what he wants in a championship. But if he wants to get all this money, which, like, I'm pretty sure the guy has made plenty of fucking money over his 20-year career at this point.
I mean, he's on every insurance commercial on the planet.
Exactly. So, I don't know. So, as of right now, this is not counting this past season and the money he was going to get the next 2 seasons. He's made $331 million strictly off of his NBA contracts.
Oh, that's it. He better take the money then. He's going. Yeah, he's probably concerned. He probably doesn't sleep very well at night.
Probably going broke.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, he's go to the Lakers.
Yeah, I agree. So, that being said, let's talk about the free agency trade rumors and the people.
And you asked me how's life. You asked me how's life, and we're talking about Chris Paul. That should tell you all you need to know.
That's fair. So actually, before we get to this, I wanted to talk about James Harden. So now, he reportedly is likely staying in Philadelphia because Houston doesn't want to give him a max. Philly still doesn't want to give him a max because otherwise this whole thing wouldn't have been a thing in the first place if they wanted to. And now with Beal going to Phoenix, that whole dream of Harden going to Phoenix is out the window. So, to me, it's funny, because all this whole plan of this leverage play of him trying to say, like, oh, I might go to Houston just so he gets more money out of Philly, blows up in his face. But second, I'd rather not have James Harden in the first place. So go ahead, go somewhere else. I don't give a fuck. Like, James Harden isn't going to win a championship. Just plain and simple.
Yeah, but at this point, though, I mean, if you got James Harden, you managed to successfully swap. I honestly don't. I think the only way that they would even be a contender is if James Harden went back and then they managed to move Tobias Harris somewhere. I think the only way that they could do that, though, is to trade Shake Milton.
I mean, that's fine with me.
Or, excuse me, Tyrese Maxey. Yeah.
I was like,
where did I get Shake Milton from?
There's reports about Milton not coming back next year.
I'll trade Shake Milton yesterday.
So I think, nobody's going to want to take Tobias Harris' contract. At least anyone who has a brain isn't going to want to take it.
Well, there are more teams that will take it now because he only has the 1 year left.
That's true.
So at least he is an expiring contract now, not a 3-year deal with $35 million every year.
But I mean, if I were like, now you don't have to worry about Bradley Beal anymore.
True.
But now we're looking at a guy like maybe like a sign and trade kind of scenario. Maybe like Toronto, maybe Washington if they get like Kuzma to do something. Even though he's gonna, if he does like a sign and trade, something along those lines, I feel like that could happen. I think it probably would be like more attractive to Toronto or Washington, just for the simple reason is because, like you said, he has that expiring contract, and both of those teams are rebuilding. Right. So if you manage to get some cash, free up some cash for next season, say they trade Siakam for somebody. I mean, shit, at this point, they could even trade Siakam to the Sixers. But I think the only way that the Sixers are going to contend is if they bring Harden back and they're able to get rid of Tobias Harris to where they have like somebody who's capable of actually scoring consistent, at least more consistently than James Harden is. That still doesn't address a lot of areas, the bench, things like that. But I mean, hey, Montrezl Harrell's probably gonna come back, so
True.
and nobody gonna pay him.
Here's my prediction. They end up trading Tobias to the Pacers
I was going to say the same thing.
for Buddy Hield, TJ McConnell, and Jalen Smith.
You just want DJ McConnell.
No, his contract, believe it or not, fits. So Buddy Hield is going to get paid around $21 million. McConnell's at 8, and then Smith is at 4. So that brings it up to the same level of contract as Tobias. Then they throw in their 2030 first round pick.
I don't hate it because you're getting 3 good players back. You're getting Buddy Hield, not a number 1 scoring option, but he could score. You get Jalen Smith, who would be a relatively. He can either start if you wanted to, or if you wanted to keep having PJ Tucker just stay out there and do nothing, that's fine too. But yeah, I mean,
point guard.
And then you get TJ McConnell. So honestly, I think it's down to one of those 3. It's Toronto, Washington, or like you said, the Pacers.
Yeah, I mean, the other deal that I saw getting floated around was for Jordan Poole, but I don't know why the Warriors would ever do that.
I don't think a lot of people were too high on Jordan Poole.
True, but why would you do that for Tobias when you know you don't have that many years left of Steph, Clay, and now we don't know about Draymond?
Well,
and we'll just transition over that because Draymond's part of the rumors and shit. So
okay, all right, I see that.
So what do you think Draymond's gonna do? Is he gonna come back to the Warriors? Because he did make that comment about like it's been 11 years. You don't just change shit just to change it.
I mean, who does he think he is? Of course that you could change shit just to change shit.
Especially with a new GM.
You can't. You're not 11 years. You can't get rid of a player,
right?
Why don't you go ask like Vince Carter that? How'd that work out? Or I can't think of a guy off the top of my head, but Jesus Christ, like anybody's tradable.
Isaiah Thomas's sister died, and the Celtics traded him the next offseason.
Right.
Like a lot can change just to change.
Monty Williams' wife has breast cancer, and they fired him.
Right. And he won Coach of the Year.
Right. They don't care. Oh, we're going to replace you with Frank Vogel. Even though I'm not hating on Frank Vogel, because I still think Frank Vogel's got a bad, he got a bad rap in LA, and I'm glad at least he get another head coaching job. But for crying out loud, you think that's a big upgrade over Monty Williams? But anywho. But Draymond will go back to Golden State because they don't know how to exist without Draymond Green.
No, I think he might go to LA. He loves LeBron.
Well, everybody does.
But I doubt they would be looking into actually signing him and Chris Paul.
That's true. I mean, well, you never know what these guys will take. LeBron will give him, Nike money if he needs to.
I wouldn't be surprised if LeBron's just been giving them like stock in like Clutch Sports or something. Like
something.
Any of the guys that he brings in.
Something.
You know what? It's interesting, but we'll see. What kind of contract would Draymond sign with the Warriors? Wasn't he due like $28 million this year?
Yeah, he was due a pretty good amount of money.
That's the other thing. Get that on the open market.
That's the other thing is he hasn't really said like what kind of contract he's looking for. If he's looking for more, his player option was for $27.5 million. So, I mean, at this point, he's going into. Sorry, I'm just saying he's going to be 34 like partway through next season.
I think he'd settle for length. He's more worried about length than, 1 year girth. You know what I mean?
True.
That
He's
was a
probably
penis
looking
joke.
for like a 4-year deal.
I mean, who isn't? I want a 4-year deal.
True. Then I
Sign
can just
me.
chill.
I could do Udonis do what Udonis Haslam did and do nothing. I'd be good at
True.
that.
I would do that in a heartbeat for $1 million.
I'll do it for $50,000.
Agreed. Oh God, but yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see what ends up happening because then there's also the rumors about Kuminga getting traded. Also, the fact that Kuminga grew to 7'2" now. My fantasy
that's like a trend.
My
That's
fantasy stock in him is looking good.
That's not real. That's not real.
Andre Iguodala is the one that said it.
No, but maybe that would be real. But I've seen like that trend going around because there was like Bill Self said Hunter Dickinson came to Kansas at 7'1". Now he's 7'6". Like I think it's like a meme.
Oh no, like this, like Andre Iguodala said it on his podcast.
So he's 7'2" now. I find that very hard to believe.
That's what happened to me.
I mean, he's only.
It's with my weight, not my height.
He's only what, 19? Sorry, he's 20. So technically, he could grow.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Like he's not even turning 21 for like another couple months. He turns 21 in October.
I'm trying to find this. Where they said Kuminga's 7'2".
Yeah, so Kuminga is reportedly on the trade block as well because they're trying to look for more of a person that can play right away. But I feel also as though Steve Kerr never really gave Kuminga the freedom to really do much.
Yeah, I don't think he's a fan.
Yeah. So I don't know. My thing is, I feel as though they'll package... Like, I feel like the package to trade to get something good would be Poole and Kuminga together.
Yeah.
Rather than just Kuminga.
Hey, what about a little Kyle Kuzma action?
The cum bucket.
Kyle Kuzma did just opt out of his contract.
Hey, little Kuzma's going somewhere.
He kind of would fit with what the Warriors do with their spacing and everything. I mean, Kuzma loves to shoot the ball whether he can shoot or not.
He's going to get paid, and that's crazy.
He's technically, like, top 3 player in this year's free agency.
He ain't that good.
No. Free agency is not good at all if Kyle Kuzma's top 3.
I think, a lot of years there's been a lot of free agents available. This is going to be a year where there's going to be big-time trades.
Oh, yeah. Every GM is looking at the free agency pool like, nah, I'm not going to go there.
Right.
And then speaking of trades, so we touched a little bit on the Bam Adebayo part. The Trailblazers are apparently offering a big deal, or coming up with a big deal for him. Fred VanVleet is probably the next best, probably is the best free agent. But he's looking for $30 million, which a lot of teams probably won't want to offer him with how undersized he is.
And he gets hurt.
And he gets hurt. And he had a pretty down year last year.
Wow. He was in Toronto.
True. But then also, the Raptors are trying to trade for some picks, but they're also reluctant to trade OG for some God knows reason.
I don't know. They must like a guy who gets hurt too. They must love,
If you're going to trade somebody, he's one of the guys that you're going to get pretty good value for. You might as well ship him out of there.
Gary Trent coming back for now.
Yep. He just opted in. I mean, his contract is honestly pretty good if they were just trying to blow things up. Gary Trent's contract is pretty nice for a contending team. It's only $18 million.
Absolutely.
And it's the last year of it. So, like, I would take Gary Trent on the Sixers.
Damn right you would.
I'd take him in a heartbeat. Really, the only guy on the Raptors that should be untouchable is Scotty Barnes.
My man's.
Everyone else can get the fuck out.
Right. Including
Get
you,
yourself-
Chris Boucher.
Exactly.
Otto Porter. Get the fuck out of here.
I forgot Otto Porter's still on the
You
team.
and your stupid foot. Get lost.
What's wrong with his foot?
What is it?
True. I feel like his foot has been hurt for like 3 years.
You're not hiding, Delano Banton. You're out of here.
What about Ron Harper Jr.?
Yep, gone.
Malachi
what's
Flynn
wrong with
gone.
Ron?
Gone.
What's wrong with Ron?
Everything.
He's not doing
Thaddeus
anything.
Young, don't even think about you're gone.
Jakob Pertl's already gone.
Right. See ya, we're rebuilding this shit.
Maybe keep Christian Coloco?
Nope. Gone.
Oh, he's gone. Kem Birch, so gone.
Christian Coloco is untouchable. We'll trade anybody but Christian except him and OG Anunoby. Scotty Barnes will even trade him.
But just not OG.
Right. He's untouchable.
Oh, God. So Jakob is also, I think he said, somewhere I read he's looking for $20 million a year for his contract, which I think is pretty fair for Pirtle.
Yeah, what the hell?
Pirtle's been solid.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't like a... But I'd
nothing
pick 20.
like- He's nothing super special, but, come in, get you like 13 and 10.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Solid
It's like better than
starting
like a
center.
Clint Capella.
Yeah. He could be exactly what Looney is for the Warriors.
Don't. That's a completely different animal right there.
I'm just saying he can.
The guy's
give you
heavier than I am, and he plays all 82 games.
I mean, Pirtle's not hurt often.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, like, Looney's just bringing the hustle.
Looney's an Iron Man for sure. I love Kevon Looney. He's the ultimate team player and the ultimate guy that will just do whatever you need him to do.
Absolutely.
When you're a guy like that, you'll find your way on any team. That's why PJ Tucker has a job.
Right. You need those utility men.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I guess when it comes down to it, I see Kuzma going to... I mean, Kuzma's not going back to Washington.
No.
If anything, a sign and trade. I think Bam will stay put. I think Siakam is on his way out. Draymond will go back to Golden State. Yeah. Zach LaVine, the fucking... Nobody's going to make up their mind. One day they say, we're keeping him. We want to build around him. And the next day he's fucking apparently on the trade block. So who the hell knows?
Well,
I don't believe anything anymore.
Did you see what like the Bulls want in return for Zach LaVine?
Probably something stupid.
Nobody's trying to trade that for Zach LaVine. It was, let's see. They're looking to net a young player that will contribute right away, other utility players, and multiple first-round picks.
Nope.
For Zach LaVine, who I was looking at. I'm putting together a little article about the worst contracts in the NBA, and honestly, I might have Zach LaVine up there for worst contract in the NBA, because let me just tell you.
I think Bradley Beal's contract's worse, but go ahead.
No. Top two are Beal and Ben Simmons. That's
Yo, chill with the Ben Simmons slander.
Still top two worst contract, Beal and Ben Simmons. Zach LaVine this past year made $37 million. He's set to make $40 million next year, 43, 45. Well, technically 46 because it's $45,999,000 And then a player option for the 26-27 season for $48.9 million.
It's kind of funny. Like, remember, what was he a free agent last year? Like, didn't everyone know? Like, I felt like everyone was like, whoever signs this guy's an idiot. Like, that kind of deal. Like,
he was signed as a free agent in 2018. He signed a multi-year contract extension with the Bulls in 2022.
Gotcha. It was like we knew he was coming up for a contract, and it was like whoever fell for that. I mean, he's a good player, but he's not a $50 million a year player.
No. He's also injury prone. Last year was his healthiest season since 2015-16.
Do you know what his nickname is?
Young Hollywood.
That's because you're on Basketball Reference, aren't you?
Yes.
You know what his other nickname is?
Flight 8.
Okay.
Which they're both dumbass nicknames.
Those are the stupidest nicknames ever.
You know what? Do you know what Ben Simmons' nickname is?
Which one?
He's got a couple. You want me to read them off?
Sure.
Simo the Savage.
Oh, that's his.
I've never heard him called that once.
This is my favorite one. Young Socialite.
Oh my god.
Again, never heard him.
Never heard that either.
Fresh Prince.
That
Nope.
one I've heard.
Peacemaker.
Nope.
Peacemaker.
Benny. The Yank. Big Ben, and the Wizard of Oz.
I mean, how many fucking nicknames can you get?
The only two I've heard of are the Fresh Prince, because they tried to do that when he first got drafted because of Will Smith in Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah. And then Simo the Savage is his gamer tag.
Oh.
So that's the only reason why I've heard of those two. The rest of them, like, Young Socialite? What the fuck?
Mikal Bridges has some good ones. The Warden. Noodles. Inspector Go-Go Gadget. String Bean. Brittle. Praying Mantis. And Brooklyn Bridges.
Again, never fucking heard anything except the last one.
Yeah.
But now I want noodles.
I don't know where they find some of these nicknames.
What'd you say, Dennis?
So now I want noodles.
You're getting hungry over there?
Little low main action.
Yeah, there you go. I love the fact that for Joel Embiid they have Dua 180, because that reference is hilarious to me every time. But anyway, what would you think that the Blazers would even need to offer to get Bam Adebayo? Because the Miami Heat obviously aren't like
Bam,
going to rebuild.
You're going to have to give the third pick at least, and you're going to have to give one of Simmons and Sharp. And it's probably going to have to be Sharp.
I think it's going to have to be both.
I think Damian Lillard would suffice.
Well, no, they're trying to pair Adebayo with Lillard.
See, I heard the opposite. I heard they're trying to get rid of Lillard.
Oh.
So that's what I'm saying. Everybody's just making stuff up.
Well, we just had Kenrick Williams from the Thunder comment. No, I'm just kidding. It's probably a fake account.
Are you sure?
I mean, it's his headshot from the NBA website, so...
How you feeling? You feeling good?
Coming back next season, Kenrick?
Right, you gonna be okay? You gonna...
Actually, is he on your fantasy team for that 30-team league?
No. Maybe? No.
I thought he was on either
He was on Mike's
team.
in Mike's league.
Oh. Mike, you still have him?
Who?
Kenrick Williams?
No, I never had him.
I had him for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Mike, you know who I have in the 30-team league?
Ron Harper Jr.?
Yeah.
Henrik, was that you? Was that really you? What did he even put? What did he write?
It says Cap Can Trap.
I have no idea what that is.
No clue.
You guys are young. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Cap Can Trap. I don't know.
Mike's about to click some sort of phishing link, and he's gonna get hacked. It's gonna take him to Zion's sex tape.
Hey, whatever.
Speaking of Zion, he's still my number one player in that stupid league. I'm gonna have to fucking trade him. I'm gonna have to trade him for a bag of chips. I mean, Zion wouldn't mind that trade. Anyway, my thing with Fred VanVleet, though. So he wants $30 million. He's obviously not going back to Toronto. He was a big fan of Nick Nurse. One of the rumors was he was coming to Philly if James Harden doesn't come back, which if James Harden doesn't come back, I would be okay with that. But I don't know what team would really want to sign him for $30 million, especially a competing team. Maybe the Mavericks if they get rid of Kyrie?
Oh, I thought Harden was rumored to go to Houston.
Well, he was at first, but now all the sources are saying he's most likely staying in Philly because Houston doesn't want to give him a max.
He'll go up to his boy Morey and be like, "Hey, we got a history here. Pay me," and that's what's going to happen. He ain't going nowhere.
I just hope he doesn't get another coach fired because it's obviously him getting people fired.
Hey,
I wasn't even that big of a documented. I wasn't a big Rivers fan, and it is kind of fucked up that just Harden comes in and then gets him fired, as he did with other coaches in the past. And then the first coach you hear of is, oh, they might bring in D'Antoni. Like, good Lord, give the guy a rest.
he's he's staying. He's not going nowhere. Doc Rivers got a lot of extracurricular activities going on the side anyway, so
that's true too.
Based on his Twitter action that he had.
Mike decided to comment on the show and say screw Big Sex.
Good for him.
Do you guys have any predictions about the draft coming up? Because what I was hearing, I was watching the Pat McAfee show. They brought on Shams, and he's saying that he's been hearing way more trade activity this draft than the last few drafts because of the CBA changes coming up and just because the free agency class is so weak. And the drafts, it sounds like it's going to be pretty deep for the first round at least.
Well, yeah, that's just what I was saying earlier, though. I think the free agent pool is kind of dry, so I think it's going to be like no holds barred this offseason. I think there's going to be guys fucking going everywhere.
True. I could see, so there was, I forget who said it. Might have been Bill Simmons again or somebody, but they said don't expect Zion to be on the Pelicans past Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's one that could be traded on draft night, and I would not be surprised one bit.
Better hope that sex tape don't come out.
He better hope he gets traded.
He probably gets
hurt.
Probably gets hurt doing that.
Probably turn his ankle coming off the airplane to the next team he goes to.
Oh, though, he just lays there. He ain't moving.
He just dead fishes in the
middle. Yeah, he ain't.
Oh God, I could see that, to be honest. But I think that's really all we had queued up for this week. Unless Dennis, you got to remember this guy.
No, not this week.
All right.
We'll bring it back next week.
That pretty much sums up our show this week. I have a short one this time because we don't have to talk about Twitter fights and texts and eating ass anymore.
Ass eating, yeah.
Unless you guys have anything to get off your chest.
No, I got nothing. I'm good.
Just watch out for Sean Marks because he's got 2 late first-round picks this draft, and he knows what he's doing in the 20s.
Jennifer Dibble says, "Big Sexy is the."
Where the hell is Jennifer Dibble?
Thank you, honey.
To give Big Sexy some props here.
She does good. I mean, she.
Is that one of your paid friends from Syracuse?
I'm not you. I don't have to pay for friends.
Big Sexy was a celebrity at the wedding.
That's right. Even Aunt, what's her face?
Aunt Polly.
Aunt Polly, what up, honey?
She's probably watching.
Aunt Polly.
I honestly did not know she watched the podcast until the wedding when she was like, "Is that Big Sexy?" I was like,
she's divorced, right?
She's never been married.
Oh.
What do you call it?
Oh,
I heard the wedding video has a clip of people coming up to Dennis saying, "Is that Big Sexy over there?"
As I was saying, I said if I was a single man, I saw Aunt Polly floating around.
She's a badass too.
Oh yeah, she was a military woman, right?
Yep.
So Aunt Polly's probably not fucking around. You know what I mean?
Been deployed many times.
Yeah, Aunt Polly will know what she's up to. She's a nice looking woman.
She's the best.
I mean, she's your aunt. She's not my aunt, so I could say that.
I know. That's why I'm saying she's the best.
You know?
Be weird if I said it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing nowadays, though. Stepbrothers, aunts, moms. I mean,
oh, God.
Pretty much all out there.
I'm not Doc Rivers.
Or Marty Brodeur.
Did he get into something like that, too?
He ended up... Hold on.
He got...
I want to make sure I tell you...
Trapped into naming his favorite porno?
No.
I'd be like scared though. Aunt Polly's like, I go in there, it's like a dungeon.
I mean, that would be pretty terrifying.
Okay, hold on. Marty Brodeur.
I mean, I'd be okay with it, especially especially when if I was had a couple threw a couple back. Yeah, why not? What the hell?
Yeah, true. I mean,
Aunt Polly, whatever. No, very nice woman.
Fun.
Very nice woman.
Agreed.
Okay, Marty Brodeur.
She obviously has good taste.
Marty Brodeur divorced his wife and married his wife's brother's wife.
So he divorced his wife and then married his ex-wife's brother's wife.
Yes.
Wait. His wife.
Yikes.
His ex-wife.
His ex-wife's brother's wife.
Okay. So his ex-wife's brother, so his brother-in-law, his sister-in-law.
He was cheating on his wife. So while he was married to his wife, he was hooking up with his brother-in-law's wife.
Hey, imagine Thanksgiving at that house.
Oh, God.
You want to pass the drumstick?
Oh, God.
Fucking Marty, all 5'3" of them. Sees her sneak off to the bathroom. Oh, I gotta go freshen up. Next thing you know, he's fucking trashing. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't use those phrases. Not clobbering. He's
Trashing is fine, not clobbering.
He's having relations upstairs in the family, in the bathroom.
Do you think it was an affair? Or do you think they just broke it off and then he was like, you know what? Fuck you, I'm going for your brother's wife.
Right. Pass the stuffing, by the way, and banging your wife.
Pass the stuffing. Speaking of stuffing, I'm
stuffing that ass.
Oh, here we go again.
Oh, gosh.
Boy, this mincemeat pie is great. Reminds me of another pie I had last night. Fucking Marty Brodeur. What a world-class guy.
A legend.
That's why the Ranger fans used to chant when he played at the Madison Square Garden. They used to chant "Uncle Daddy."
Uncle Daddy. Oh God.
Well, hold on a second.
Because his nephews. He became their stepdad.
Hey. At least
I didn't even think about that part.
So I wonder if he was gonna buy them like 2 Christmas presents or like 2 birthday presents.
Danny C here said, "I've had relations with myself in the bathroom to get away from many Clausen family gatherings."
See, to get away from Clausen family gatherings, they just tried to cut my wrists.
Oh, that's amazing.
Have you ever went somewhere and just hope you flipped your car over?
Is that what your family gatherings are like?
Sometimes I'm like, if I flipped my car over and couldn't make it, I would not be upset.
Now, is this when you go to the Clausen households or the Kasu households?
No, I do have my family's good. A couple,
They're not watching right now, so you can say what you want.
Well, apparently Danny is.
Yeah, Danny. Danny's good. Danny and I are tight. Danny's he's 10 years younger, so I think he was a mistake. But
so he's a sibling.
Yeah, he's my brother. He's my little brother.
Gotcha.
So, but he's 10 years younger, and so obviously I don't think he was planned, but whatever.
Okay.
Hey, whatever flow,
Jennifer says, Dan's okay. And Dancia is 9 years younger, dickhead.
He's a lot skinnier than I am too, though. If you looked at him, he's over 6 feet and he's 180 pounds, the complete opposite of me.
Damn. I'm the same weight, but 3 inches shorter, so it looks worse.
Who's the same weight?
Me.
As who?
You just said 180 pounds, right?
I'm not 180 pounds.
No, you said he was.
Oh, yeah. Somewhere around there. Maybe 192, 200.
Oh, okay.
I think he's
200's different from 180.
To me, it's not. I could do that. I could do that in a weekend. 20 pounds is whatever.
Sometimes 20 pounds looks a lot different. But then other times 20 pounds is like, yeah, it's 20 pounds. It's 20,
Mike, he'd have to lose way more than 20 for it to even show up.
To even make a dent.
Right.
Oh, God. Well, I think that's it here for us. We will catch you guys next week. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell for notifications. It lets you know when we go live. Our videos are also on Spotify if you like to watch on there. And our audio is everywhere you get your audio podcasts. Literally every platform you can think of. Spotify, Apple, Google, all that kind of stuff. That is it for us. The Atlantic Files, the #1 podcast on the #1 division in the NBA, brought to you by the Underdog Sports Podcast Network, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.